Hi everyone, Adam with BishopSheenRosaries here today, and we are going to talk about the 10th and final wonder of the Rosary from none other than Father Don Calloway's 10 Wonders of the Rosary book. And this is on the Rosary is an indulgenced prayer. We're going to talk about Purgatory. We're going to talk about why you need to pray for plenary indulgences for the holy souls in Purgatory. And this is a topic a lot of people have a lot of questions on. And if you didn't understand a word I just said, that's fine. We're going to hop into all of it right now and give you the full breakdown. So stick with us, and thanks for coming back for more Rosary content here at Bishop Sheen Rosaries. And you can check out SheenRosaries.com for actual rosary resources that you can use to help pray your rosary and to find a rosary that's perfect for you or a friend. So without further ado, let's hop right in to the 10th wonder of the Rosary. The Rosary is an indulgenced prayer. So a little layout for the video. We're going to talk about Purgatory first, then we're going to talk about what's an indulgence, then we're going to talk about exactly the steps on how to gain an indulgence or a plenary indulgence for yourself or for one of the holy souls in Purgatory. So first off, what is Purgatory? There's no way I could explain it better than the Church herself, so we're going to go to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph 1030. All who die in God's grace and friendship, but still imperfectly purified, are indeed assured of their eternal salvation, but after death they undergo purification, so as to achieve the holiness necessary to enter the joy of heaven. Once somebody dies, but they have been saved, they are going to be destined for heaven because they are God's child. They have been sacramentally bound to Him, and they desire heaven. This is a place of mercy that God has gifted to us. It's a treasury of mercy and grace, really, that He's gifted us, this place of purgatory, this place that we can still atone for the sins that we have not yet perfectly made atonement for. And this is a place of great suffering. The saints will even say that purgatory, those who are suffering in purgatory are experiencing a suffering probably worse than any suffering we can even imagine here on earth. Now, I've never been to Purgatory. I can't tell you that that's how it is for sure, but I don't really want to go there. I hope for my own sake that I go straight to heaven, but a lot of times I don't think that's the case. I think there will probably be a purgation period for most of us that want to eventually get to heaven, because it's so hard to atone for every last wrongdoing we've ever done. Now, that doesn't mean we shouldn't shoot for the stars and try to go right to heaven. No purgatory necessary. Definitely do that. And if you're that kind of person, I want to be your friend and I want to go on the path to sainthood with you. But for all of those who are, we're not living, walking saints, we may experience purgation. And for maybe a relative or a good friend that has passed away who might be in that purgation period, we need to be praying for them. Their time on earth has come to an end, unfortunately. They are no longer in the church militant, that is us here on earth. They are now in the church suffering. And to relieve them of the pain of purgatory, we must be praying for them to limit their temporal time in purgatory. We're praying to let them go to the full joy of heaven, to see the beatific vision of Jesus face to face. So what has the church and what has God really given to us is a treasure trove of graces and opportunities. If nothing else, you as a member of the church militant should hear this as a desperate plea for prayers from the church suffering. You need to know how important your time is. Every day is an opportunity for a plenary indulgence. Oh, it's so cool. Like, we as human beings can avoid purgatory through giving up time on our earthly life in which we can suffer now to avoid suffering later. And it's also something we can do for those who have died before us, for a family member or a relative or a friend who has passed. We can pay forward the prayers so that their time in purgatory is shortened, and hopefully, we're raising children that will do that for us, or the people after us will pray for our temporal punishment to be shortened. It's the ultimate pay it forward scheme, right? And using what is called the Manual of Indulgences, we can pray with the norms and grants of indulgences. The norms tell us basically how we can acquire a plenary indulgence or a partial indulgence, and the grants tell us what opportunities give us this chance to do that. So, for example, no one gaining an indulgence may apply it to another living person is one of the norms, and a plenary indulgence can be only acquired once per day, whereas a partial indulgence can be acquired multiple times per day. You must be baptized. You can't currently be in a state of excommunication from the church, and you have to be in a state of no mortal sin. And that is all part of the norms again. And finally, you have to meet these 3 conditions. You have to go to the sacrament of confession. You must also receive the sacrament of the Holy Eucharist and pray 3 the Our Father, Hail Mary, and Glory Be for the Holy Pontiff or the Pope and his intentions. So essentially, you don't have to necessarily do that on the same day as you attain the plenary indulgence, although Eucharist is requested to be within that same day. The confession can be, I believe, about a week in between, so you have a few days of leeway there. But then praying after your reception of Holy Eucharist, pray that Our Father, Glory Be, Hail Mary for the Holy Pontiff's intentions, and then at that point you have gained a plenary indulgence, whether that's for yourself or for a specific holy soul that you have in mind that might be in purgatory, or you could just pray for the one that needs your prayers the most, and that's something I like to do sometimes. So that was the norms, and now what are the grants, or the opportunities in which we can, pray a specific way and get a plenary indulgence. Now, the way that I really like is called through the family rosary. Now, you could pray the rosary at a church, you could pray it, I believe, at a religious community or in a family. You can also pray it at an oratory. But these are places that you can physically pray the rosary. And with the family, if you just want to pray it at home with everyone in your family, that's a way that each member of your family can be praying together for a plenary indulgence. Could you imagine you have a few kids, you are leading 5, 6, 7 souls to heaven at once. You all go to confession, you all go to Mass the next day, pray your Our Father, Hail Mary, Glory Be to the Pope's intentions. You're golden. You've helped maybe 5, 6, 7 souls get from the church suffering to the church triumphant in heaven. How cool is that? And on top of that, you could do that every week. You could do it every day if you went to daily Mass. There's so much opportunity for grace. And could you imagine if all families just committed to this, how quick we'd be emptying purgatory and just getting people to heaven? That would be so cool. Now, there are a couple things that even kind of ruffled my feathers a bit. I sometimes don't pray the rosary on my knees. Actually, a lot of times I don't pray the rosary on my knees, and a lot of times I don't pray it with my entire family. And these are things that are necessary to actually try to gain a plenary indulgence. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't pray your rosary if you're not on your knees or you're not with your whole family, but if you do it in the certain conditions that the Manual of Indulgences prescribes, you are also working for these holy souls in purgatory. And now you should be praying 5 decades. It says preferably uninterrupted, so without interruption. If you can pray on your knees 5 decades of the rosary, about 15 to 20 minutes of your day on your knees without interruption, you are praying to release holy souls from purgatory, or putting that own potential temporal punishment of your own soul, you're relieving that from the end of your life. And now these are very heady theological, metaphysical conversations that I don't have a degree in. I want to be very clear about that. But these are things that you can read about, you can get more information about, and please, I encourage you, especially with Lent coming up, to try to attain at least one plenary indulgence during Lent. There's also opportunities for special things like I think doing the Stations of the Cross during Lent, and there's other grants like that. Going to a cemetery, I think during the month of November, which is the month we traditionally pray for the dead, is another grant. So there are things, you just have to look them up. You just have to, read the Manual of Indulgences or Google it. You don't have to even get a copy. Just learn the things that you can do for these holy souls and the things you could do with your rosary beads. It's powerful. It's really changing people's whole lives. It's changing your it could be your relative, changing his or her soul from a state of suffering to a state of triumph in heaven. How amazing is that? And you might never know the works and wonders you've done with the indulgences that you've prayed for and you've attained for souls, but I'm sure once you do get to heaven, then you'll be able to know. You'll be able to see those people face to face, and who knows, maybe your praying now will inspire someone else to pray for you later and help you along on your own journey. I know it's a long, heady conversation. A lot of probably comments below going to be like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Are you sure about this? I don't believe in that. And that's fine. This is just getting the conversation started. So let's just take a moment to pray about that, to think about that, reflect on it, and let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. From us to you, through Mary.